Hello and welcome to another Age of Empires HD commentary. This is Ribo Collier. I've been away for quite some time due to finals and schoolwork and whatnot, but since the semester is winding down here, I thought I'd go ahead and upload another game. Now, if you watched one of my first videos, you'll remember that I promised that I would upload videos win or lose. Well, this game, I'm just going to go ahead and spoil it for you. I get absolutely whooped. The guy I'm going up against, Fraudy, I believe he spawned in as the Goths. Goths, correct. And this is just a normal 1 vs 1 random map. I spawned in as the Byzantines this time, and I haven't played quite so much in the past few weeks. I've maybe gotten a few games in of the campaign, but as far as honing my skills online, I haven't really been doing that. I've been so busy with schoolwork, and I work a full-time job anyway, so you could imagine my time is pretty limited. But let's go ahead and get straight into it here. So I didn't really have a strategy for this game. You know, and a lot of you guys are going to shake your head watching this, wondering what the hell I'm doing. But, you know, like I said, I was rusty, so I figured at this point, since I'm using the Byzantines, I'll go for the cheap camel units. I've read that the Byzantines have cheap infantry, which I don't really use this game. But my goal is just to use camels with cataphracts with archers, and we'll see how that goes. Let me go ahead and fast forward it here, because this is quite a long game. It went 49 minutes, and the action is pretty sparse, so I'll go ahead and I'll speed it up here. So, beginning of the game, I got my 2 houses down. I'm getting my sheep, scouting around with my scout, just to try to get a good feel of the map. If you want to look at what my Fog of War looked like, oh, I'm on the other guy. This is what the beginning of the game started off with. Not much. You can see I'm just searching the map around for sheeps, boars, gold deposits, stone deposits, whatever different resources you know that you would need in a game like this. Let's go ahead and take a look at what my opponent's doing. Go ahead and take a look at him because he's much better than me. So it's too early to really tell which direction either one of us is going to. You know, a lot of these games, they kind of look the same in the beginning. When you're in the Dark Age and you're just trying to get out of the Dark Age, I don't think there's too much of a variation that you can do on what the build order is. There seems to be a pretty set standard for what the build order is. You know, you build 2 houses in the beginning, you build 5 villagers immediately. You know, you get your sheep next to your town center. Once you get enough villagers on your sheep, then you go to wood, and then eventually you move on to boars and whatnot. You can see he's scouting the map a lot better than I am this early on in the game. I'm still scouting around my little bubble here of influence to find any other sheep or boar that I might be able to use. Looks like he just got his first boar there. 8 minutes into the game, got his first boar. I got so close to getting a scout. I'm actually disappointed that I didn't get him. I waited until he got close to my town center, and then I rang the bell, hoping to kill a scout so that he wouldn't have eyes anymore until he got another stable. But as you can see, he got away with 3 HP, so very close. Tell one difference between his build order than mine is he's building a barracks much earlier than I am, and he's starting to go up to the feudal age around 9 minutes, which is a pretty good speed. And he's going for gold, which is natural. Once you start going up into the feudal age, that's when you start collecting gold. Yeah, I went for berries a lot earlier than he did. He's built a mill. He hasn't gone after the berries. I wonder if maybe that was a mistake that I made. If you guys have any recommendation as far as what I should do to improve my build order in the Dark Age to make me stronger in the feudal age, I'd appreciate that. At this time, let's see and take a look at where I'm at here. I'm just now researching the feudal age, so I believe he's he's completed his research through the feudal age, whereas I'm still actively researching it, and I believe yeah, another villager fail here. He dies before. It's because he was so far away from my town center. He was all the way over here. Stupid idle villager. He's got a nice wall here starting off. That's one thing I don't typically do. I don't really wall off my town or my base. And I noticed that's something a lot of the professionals do. Or I guess they're not well, I guess they are. I guess some of them get paid to play this game. But a lot of the pros, I noticed they'll wall off their base using the palisades or houses, and you know, combination of houses and barracks or markets or what have you. The moron that I am, I sent my scout over here without paying too much attention to where he was going to be. So he took quite a bit of damage, down to 6 HP. So here we are, 16 minutes into the game. My opponent's going for a fast castle at 16 minutes, pretty good time. Whereas me, I'm just chilling out here in the feudal age, not really doing much, not really having a concrete plan. And you know, it's amazing with these games what you have to do. You have to plan ahead. You have to know what your strategy is going to be, but at the same time, you have to adapt to what your opponent's doing. That's one thing I really struggle at in this game, is actively scouting to determine what kind of route my opponent's going for. That's something hopefully I can get better at over the summertime when I'm not in school. There you go, he's walling off. So he's got a nice little base defense here. Pretty much, once he completes this wall, my only avenue would be able to come in, either break through these buildings here or break through the walls, or try to come all the way around. Let's go ahead and take a look at my point of view here. So at this point I had scouted a little bit of his base. I wasn't really aware of his palisades going down. I did see that he was building another town center. So he's going to have a boom coming, which means that he's going to have the advantage over me in that arena. His economy is going to be much stronger. He's going to be able to put out those units much faster than me. So you can tell it's not looking so good for me. I started building, I don't know why I built pikemen or spearmen. I guess I feared a cavalry rush, but see, that's another problem, is I didn't really have any type of knowledge into what type of units the Goth comes out with. After the game was over, my opponent and I had a chat, and he told me that, you know, the Goths are really strong, have really strong cavalry, so to counter them you either want skirmishers or cataphracts or paladins, which I had a few cataphracts, but nothing really to make a big difference. So 23 minutes, I'm going up to the castle age. Farm's running out of seed. As always, I hate that sound. I don't know about anyone else, but whenever I hear that sound, I'm so anal about it. I always have to go back and reseed the farms. So he's got a nice little wall off over here. I guess I could come through if I wanted to. If I was actively scouting his side of the map, I could come through here and attack, but you'll see that none of that really works. If you take a look down on the lower right hand side of your screen, you'll see the scores. He's leading me right now with a total score of 2,100 or so points. I just jumped up to 2,100 as well because I believe I went up to the castle age. Yep. So once I hit the castle age, my goal was just to get another town center up immediately so that I could have quicker access to villagers, resources, so that I can get my economy going here. Let's go ahead and take a look at my opponent here and see what his fog of war looked like, or what his viewpoint looked like. He's got a scout sitting way over here. He's created a monastery here to get a... Oh, look at that. He's got a relic right next to his base. I wonder if I had one. Now, as you can see, he hasn't scouted me quite a while, so my opponent wasn't actively scouting me either. So, you know, we'll see how that plays out for him. He's got 3 town centers up right now, with a castle going up, front side of his base for good protection. His population's at 65 right now. Mine's I actually have a higher population. That's probably because I have these guys though. If we look at villager count, I believe we can do that here. I don't know if there's a way to actually look at the sole villager count here. He's got plenty of villagers coming out, staying active on all fronts here. I hate that feeling you get once you watch a recorded game and you see where each of you were at certain points of the game, and you realize that you could have done much better than you did. You know, I regret it. He's doing a little sheep scout here. Let's see how well that paid off for him here. Oh, it got claimed. So he found the house that he had found before. Let's go ahead and go back over to me here. As you can see, I really hadn't been scouting him at all either. I've built up some stables and I got some knights coming out here. Not sitting too bad. I have a ton of gold, you know, and it makes you wonder why I didn't have a stronger military at this point. If all the gold I have, I should have a lot more gold-centric units. I can tell you one weakness now looking at is my food production's not too strong. I don't have too many farms. I should have expanded on my farms. I should have gotten another town center up much sooner than I did. So at this point you can pretty much compare his economy to mine. He has 3 town centers up next to my 2. He's probably got more up now. 1, 2, 3. Still got 3 town centers. He has sent a scouting party. And he proceeds to take out a lot of my villagers here. I was building up my 3rd town center. He was able to intercept them and stop that whole plan that I had. Thankfully, I did have a military to kind of make some kind of defense against his scouting party. But this is where it starts to go bad. So he sent his first scouting party, did some damage to my economy, took out some villagers. So now I have to, you know, replace those villagers. I have to get those villagers back out onto the map to continue building that town center and to continue gathering stone. He's actually stopped my gold stone production at this point. So he's got another castle coming up here. He's got 2 castles. Got 1, 2, 3. Still sitting at 3 town centers. Where is most of his unit production coming? At this point in the game, my plan was to try to build a forward castle, because I noticed he wasn't near this gold pile, so I was going to try to claim it. But then once I got intercepted, I killed those plans, saw his units here, his special unit, withdrew my camels here to try to, because I knew an attack was imminent at this point. I saw the units that he had, so my plan at this point was just to go on the defense. And honestly, I wasn't too confident in my ability to even defend his attack, so I'm sure that had something to do with my play style. But as you can see, I get pop capped at 130, which is not too good. Let's see where his population is at this point. 147, so he's got more units than me. He's not population capped like me. He's 2 castles up. He's got a university, which I didn't have. And he's got pretty good food production here all throughout his base. Let's go ahead and take a look at his attack here from his point of view. And his units just completely decimate mine. I send in what other units that I have to try to take out his trebuchets. But as you can see, his units are just flooding in. Yeah. At this point, I believe let's go ahead and take a look at from my point of view here. I was going for camels again, which I ended up learning that camels were not a good unit to use. Camels were a bad idea. The goddamn camels. And he just proceeds to take out all my villagers. It was around this time I realized that it was pretty much game over. You know, his units are continuing to flood across the map. He's in my base already, destroying. I have no real chance. I had no real chance at this point to recover. So, the good game should be coming here pretty soon. You see it right there, good game. So, let's just take a little recap. You know, we'll go to the timeline for this to see where everything went wrong. So, militarily, he owned me. Economy-wise, he owned me. Technology-wise, way more upgrades than I had. He had me across the board, basically. He finished off with a total score of 11,501, whereas I finished off with 4,841. Not too good. You can see right there just the overall summary of the game that I did not do too well. Units killed wise, he decimated me in the field. I didn't take out too many of his units. He didn't lose any buildings, whereas I lost 11 buildings, and his largest army was 97 units. Economy wise, got him in gold at least, barely, but he had me across the board with everything else. He got to the feudal age in 11 minutes, where I got to the feudal age in 13 minutes. So feudal age time wasn't too bad. My castle age time was horrendous. 25 minutes to get to the castle age. And I never ended up getting to the imperial age. He explored much more of the map than I did. He, like I said earlier, he researched a lot more upgrades. And society-wise, he got 3 relics. He had 3 castles. You know, good job, Friday. You just outplayed me in every aspect of the game. So, my lesson learned in this game was, well, for one, you have to play this game in order to keep your skills sharp. 2, to scout more to find out what your opponent is going to be doing, and then react to that. 3, would be able to get more knowledge of each of the civilizations to determine what type of strategy to go for. Like in this game, I went for camels, which were not a good unit to go up against his special unit. They just got decimated. I should have used cataphracts or paladins to counter his special unit, or skirmishers, which my chances would have been much better in the engagements that we had. So, like I said, guys, I upload any game that I play. Any game I play, win or lose. I appreciate any constructive feedback that you could give me. Hopefully, I know I've been pretty absent. I'll get more games out here now that the semester's winding down. And I also wanted to recommend a podcast that I've been listening to. Ever since I've been playing Age of Empires again, it's got me back into medieval warfare. And I'm a big fan of history, and I'd assume that most of you are as well. If you play Age of Empires, there's a common joke out there that most of us learned what we know of history by playing the Age of Empires campaign. I know Age of Empires was instrumental in making me a history freak as a young kid. But the podcast I want to recommend is called Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. I'll go ahead and I'll put a link to his podcast in the show notes. And I just got done listening to his history about the Wrath of the Mongols, and it is enthralling to listen to. There's 5 episodes, I believe, and each one of them are about an hour and a half long. And he goes through detail from the beginning of the Mongolian Empire to the end, what took place, and just how dominant they were in this time. How the Europeans and the Middle East and Asia has never ever seen a force or an empire as strong as the one that Genghis Khan built back in the 1200s. So I'll go ahead and I'll include a link to his podcast in there. Make sure you go ahead and download it and listen to it. I don't have any affiliation with Dan Carlin. I'm just a fan of his podcast, and I just figured you guys would enjoy it on your way to work and whatnot. But I'll go ahead and like I said, I'll link that in the show notes. But until the next time, guys, give me some constructive feedback on my game, and I'll get another game up here pretty soon. Take care.